What's up guys, welcome to new Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. Today we are continuing with the RPG series and the advanced AI. Don't worry, this is one of the last episodes of the AI. We're nearly finishing it. So in today's episode, we'll go ahead and make the boss. It's gonna be a very easy video to follow, so let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is go into our AI folder and make a class child of our BP AI. This is basically the generic one. It will contain all of the possible things that our AI can have, right? In this case, we have, the AI controller class, run the behavior tree, the health, the attacking system, and so on. So come on, open, there we go. As you can see, we did the sort trace, it has its things, the health system, and so on. But what we're going to do is a child, so we can basically make our boss from it. So it's as simple as going into the BP AI blueprint class, actor, is right click, and then say create child blueprint class. And now we can just say BP AI underscore boss. And as simple as that, we can just open this. And it will basically be exactly the same, but in the event graph, you can see that we're calling the functions, well, the events from our parent, right? So it's like having less code in it because it's running on the parent, which is not visible. So what we can do in here is basically start doing some things. First of all, the boss will not be able to be assassinated, okay? If you want to do so, just leave it like that. But in my case, I'm gonna go ahead and get the assassin ref and delete it. And also actually we cannot delete it, okay, because the child and these components are directly from the parent. So you know what, we will allow that our boss will be able to be assassinated, okay? Change of plans. All right, so now let's get our mesh and let's just make it bigger, like 1.5 maybe. Yeah, I don't know, well, maybe too big, 1.3. The thing is that later on, of course, we'll have our own characters and we'll change it to a bigger guy and so on. But for now, I'm just gonna literally just scale up the mesh itself, right? Man is gonna be just bigger, and that's gonna be our boss for today. Okay, if you already have your characters, of course you can change it, but in my case I'm just gonna make it a bit bigger, so we know that this is the boss and it's like bigger and so on. And now another thing I'm going to do is go into the character movement component and go into the max walk speed and decrease it from 450 to, let's say, 250. So basically he will move slower, like more of a boss type of controller movement, So right now, if I literally let me just get the other AI deleted so it will not intercept. So now if I just get my boss here and put him in the scene and press play, as you can see, he's moving, he's bigger, and he is slower. And already he looks really cool. He's already going attacking me and so on, so everything is working as intended. Now the thing is that we're gonna be making some slightly different modifications into the boss, okay? Basically the behavior tree. If we now open the behavior tree of the normal AI, we have the option to investigate and so on. But basically the boss will not investigate, okay? I'm gonna make it a bit simpler. I'm gonna keep only the investigations and patrolling and so on for the soldiers surrounding our camps that in the future, when we build our open world, we will have. But for the boss, what we're going to do is just literally have him without just standing there. Like, we can just reuse the patrolling, but basically make it in a very small area. So he will just be walking around a very small area, like pretty much in circles, and then he will just directly see you and just go into the attacking and so on. So what we're going to do is basically just duplicate this behavior tree. So literally you select the BT underscore AI, Ctrl D, and then BT underscore AI underscore boss. And we're going to do the same with the blackboard data. So just duplicate it and then BT underscore AI underscore boss. And now we're going to do, to make things a bit more organized, just create a folder for the boss and just get the blackboard of the boss, the actor of the boss, and the behavior tree of the boss. Just drag it and move it inside the folder so everything is a bit more organized. Alright, another thing that we have to do is go and select basically the AI controller class, and instead of being the generic one, what we want to do is make a child from it. So right click, create a child, and this will be, instead of generic, the boss. And once again, we'll go ahead and move it into boss. Right, so now we can just open up our AI controller boss, and you will see that basically we will not have the option to change the behavior tree that we're running because it's doing from the parent and so on. So let's just go ahead and quickly open this up, and you can see that we have the detection and so on happening here, and the running behavior tree. So what we can do instead is go on here and just copy the same node, but basically we don't need to run the parent behavior tree because, well, the only thing that our begin play is doing in our parent is just running the other generic behavior tree. So we just don't call that one, and we call this one, which is the one that we want. We don't need the vent tick, and then all of the target perception will already happen because it's in the parent and this is the child. So literally we don't have to do anything more. As you can see, the AI perception component is already added and so on. So everything is great for us. So now we can go ahead and close all this, except for changing, of course, our behavior tree to be the AI boss. So now we can go ahead and continue on, compile, save, and we can go into our AI boss. And what we're going to do here is go into our class settings, defaults, and we're gonna search for AI. I'm gonna change the control class from being the one of the generic into our AI controller boss. And with that, if we compile and save, this new behavior should be applied on him. Okay, now of course we have not changed anything, so now let's go into our boss and let's enter our behavior tree. I'm going to do is literally go into the selector and delete it, and then get all the investigation sequence and delete it. It is a bit painful, but don't worry, we'll still have it on the other soldiers and stuff. This is just for the boss. And now let's plug this here, and what we're going to do is just select the patrol random point node, and what we can do is change the radius and the stop distance. Now another thing that we need to make sure is that the Blackboard asset, it is the new one from the AI boss, so make sure to select that. Now we can go back into the patrol thing and change it to be, and in the radius, well, basically much smaller. And literally, let me just say, I don't know, just 700. I mean, you can play with the distance, but basically it's gonna be walking a bit, stopping, walking a bit, stopping. And I think that 2 seconds will work for me good. So there we go. Alright, so now everything is working, everything is as it is. This says target actor and so on, but let's quickly go into the Blackboard and make sure again that you changed the Blackboard to the boss. Okay, make sure, of course. But now on here, what we can do is get the investigation location and delete it because we don't need it anymore, and save it. Ctrl-Shift F to save everything. So now our AI boss should still do his things, but without investigating. And I don't know why it didn't move right now. So let me just see. Let's just go back into the behavior tree over here, and okay, this is because this isn't the target. All right, of course, because we have the Blackboard asset condition, which is set to none because I basically deleted the Blackboard data. So just delete this Blackboard the creator, and now when we press play, he's going back to move. So I forgot to remove that. So now everything is just as normal, but he basically goes slower, and he will patrol in a smaller area, even though you don't really see it because he instantly saw me. As you can see, he just walks a bit and stops. So basically a different type of behavior for the boss. And then also on top of that, he cannot investigate. Right, so from here what we want to do is basically make his attack animations feel a bit heavier. And for now what we're going to do is keep the same combo with the same animations, but make it so that he attacks lower. So the sense of he is heavier and he's sort of heavier and so on. You get the idea. So what we can do is go into the AI BPAI like actor itself, the parent, and you can see that basically we can change the play rate of each of the play montage. This is basically the speed that the animation montages will play. So what we can do is just right click the play rate and promote this into variable, and this will just be the attack animation, and just put use speed. Okay, as simple as that. And what we're going to do is plug it in all the montages which have the play rate option, like that and like that. So now all of the basically animations of attacking of the combo for the AI will play with a certain speed. For default, it will be of course as 1, but what we can do is go and activate this icon over here, this eye. This will basically make it instance editable, as you can see, so it is public. And if it's public, that means that if we go into our child class in the boss and should open and then close it and open the full editor, if now, actually I think we didn't have to close and open it, but we go into the class defaults and we can search for speed, we now have it here. Yes, attack animation speed. In this case, we can lower this to be 0.5 or whatever. So now in theory, he should attack with half the speed. So let's put this as a test. Let's pass this here. And as you can see, now yes, he attacks slower. Of course, it is way too slow. So we can change that by going back into, let's close a lot of tabs that we don't need. Into here, into the boss actor, class defaults, and you can just search for the speed. And now we can just put this, I don't know, 0.75. Again, this is just, what the values and the speed that you want to have with your AI. For me, this will work just fine. He's like slower, like heavier, and when we add the sounds, camera shake, and combat music, it will feel even better. Now let's make the final thing for this episode for the boss, and it's basically just having the big health bar on top of him, like his name and the typical thing from Assassin's Creed. So what we're going to do is go into our content and UI folder, and we're going to just right click, use interface, and create a widget blueprint. You say use a widget, and then that will be underscore, and let's just call this the boss and health bar, for example, like that. And let's just open this up. So now on here, what we can do is just go into the palette, so the canvas, just drag it here, and then we can just go into our HUD. And what I want to do is just copy our our health bar, because it already has all the parameters that we need. So just go ahead and copy this, and we should be able to paste it here. There we go. So now it's here. So now let's put the anchor to be in the top and the position X 0, and then make sure that the alignment is in 0.5.5, and then we can just change the position Y to be basically on here like this. Now I think I'm going to do is change the size X to be way bigger, because he's like a boss, so you know what I mean. He has like a bigger health bar, right? In all games. So I think like that will work pretty neatly. Maybe 60 is a bit better. There we go. You can play with all the customization of the UI as you want, but for me this will work just as fine. So with that, we can just go ahead and leave it like this, compound, save, and close the boss health bar and the HUD. So now it is time to actually go ahead and making all the logic of activating the health bar when we enter in combat with him. Now there are many ways that we can do this, and if we go into the generic AI controller class, as you can see, we have this thing of the side detection or hearing detection. Now for the AI boss, the hearing detection will not work because we disabled the behavior tree function for it. But for the side detection, this will basically work. So in here, what we can do is in here set it to be true, right? The health bar, and on here set it to be false. But of course, we need to really only do it in our child, which is the boss itself, right? So what we're going to do is right after here in the side detection in the AI controller generic, what we're going to do after we set the basically target actor that we want to chase, basically the boss wants to chase, we can just cast to our BP underscore boss. Can I just type? I don't know how to type today, it seems like boss. Okay, but it is the basically AI controller, okay? And this will just be a reference to self. Because this is the parent, it will also have the reference to the child. So what we can do here is just call a function, a custom event, to enable this this panel that we have just created, the health bar. And also let's copy and paste this here, because this is when we lose track of our player, and here we want to disable the health bar and so on. So let's go into our AI boss folder and open up the AI controller boss class, and just create a custom event with literally we can just call it like activate boss combat. And this just means in general the music, in the future and now the health bar and other things. Like basically we are in boss combat. So on here, what we're going to do is just create a widget, and this will be the one that we have just created, which is the boss health bar, and then just add it into the viewport. Now what we need to do is also just right click and promote this to a variable and call this the boss health bar widget. So then when we deactivate it, we have a reference to actually delete it, and we can just plug this in and basically we'll add it to the viewport. And now we'll have another one with custom event and the activate boss combat. And literally, why didn't I know how to spell this? There we go. And it will basically do the same but the opposite. So we just get our health boss widget reference and just remove from parent, and then we just delete it. And then another thing that we can do is just get this and then set it to be empty. And now like this, it should be completely empty, but it should appear on the screen and stuff. But what we have to do is go back here and of course call the activate boss combat, and in the other one deactivate boss combat, and you will see that it should work. So let's go ahead and test this. So he's coming, he sees me, there we go. You can see the health bar activated on here. Now if I manage to lose high sight, so you can see it finds me again. Let me just wait a bit. Can I hide him? So I'm gonna try to lose him sight. There we go. So he lost me and the health bar disappeared. So everything is working. The only thing I have to do is basically get the actual health bar right from the AI boss. Now the AI boss health will be in here. So what we can do is in the AI boss controller is create a health a variable called health, and this will just be a float. And then what we can do and just get our reference, right? And this will need to be in the event tick. So let's go ahead and let's add the event tick because it will need to happen always. And just go ahead and get the health bar and make sure that if we right click is valid. So basically this will just make sure that our health bar is displayed on the screen. If not, it will not be valid because we're disabling here. But if it's valid, it has been added into the viewport so we can see it. If so, what we're going to do is get the health bar and then just go ahead and set the percent and put it over here. Now the percent will just be the health bar, sorry, the current health divided by the max health, and then plug this in here. So actually we're going to create another variable called the max health, and then we can just plug that on here. There we go. Now let's put some values just by default, just as 100 and then just 70, just to have something, but this will be replaced with the actual health. So what we can do is in the AI boss, go into the event tick, and after doing the parent event tick, what we can do is just get the AI controller class, all right, and then just do a cast to the boss controller. And now in here, what we can do is just set the health with the actual health. So we can just get health, and you will see that it actually appears. Wait, this is from the controller. Get health. So this is from the BPA controller class. We don't want that. We may need to make it public. So let's go into the content AI BPAI, and we're just gonna go into the where is it? So any damage here, we play all the stuff. And of course, this is inside BB stats. Sorry about that. I literally forgot our health system, how it worked. It seems like for a second. So go back into the AI boss here, get the BBC stats, and now we get the health. And just plug this here, and then also let's set the max health. And let's go ahead and plug that there. And again, we'll get this, but basically get the max health, and then plug that there. So now in the tick, right, every frame it will be, and then just make sure that you put this into self, it will be feeding those values into there. So this should work as fine. If I were to go in here in front of him, as you can see, the health, if he sees me again, is 100. Now if I were to attack him, this should go ahead and decrease. The problem is that we have an issue with the AI and the health stats that we still have to resolve. Okay, a lot of you guys actually commented through Discord, and yes, only the health right now works for our player and the dummy. For our AIs, it still doesn't work completely. It does, you can see, it does decrease the damage if he sees me again. As you can see, I am decreasing his damage, so everything is working, as you can see, but we get a bunch of errors. So about the bunch of errors, don't worry, we'll fix them in the next episode. Okay, but as you can see, everything is going ahead of working. We already have a boss, and it will be slower with a different behavior, and it will activate its health bar when it sees us and it enters in the combat mode. So that's it, guys. If you found this tutorial helpful, I would really appreciate if you like the video and subscribe to my channel. I have lots of Unreal Engine 5 tutorials, so go ahead and check them out. Join my Discord server so you can share your progress with the series and with your games, and follow me on all my socials, such as Twitter and Instagram. Now, yes, with all that said, bye bye.